All right, we're going to do just a little overview of the MyOpenMath homepage and kind of navigating through the quizzes. Then the next steps are really going to dive into how do you actually do some of the coding to develop your own questions. At this point, you should see a couple of courses over here, but at a minimum, you should see the CISD Mom training course, which is my MyOpenMath training course. I'm going to click on it to see kind of what's going on here. These are all of the quizzes and examples that you're going to be exploring as you work through. You should have completed the exploration activity, which is going to be this quiz down here. But for an example, I'm going to show you a little bit about the assignment that I'm working on. Now, for my assignment, it's very, very tempting, and it's often annoying that if you click on the assignment, all you can really do at this point is preview that assignment. It doesn't do a whole lot for you here. So actually, if you want to edit or mess with anything in your assignment, you either need to change the settings, or most of the time, I'm just jumping right to questions. And so here, it will show you how many questions. This particular quiz only has one question. Down at the bottom, you're going to see lots and lots and lots of examples, and you can preview any of these examples. You can search through various and plethora examples. We're starting to attach teak, so anything with a teak is probably something Miss Green or myself have developed. But let's say you want to start really looking at this particular multiplication fluency question to see if it's something that meets your needs or if you need to edit it. So if I want to look at this particular question, I'm going to edit the code because this is really a code-based question bank. So if I edit the code, I'll see a couple things going on here. You'll have the name of the question. Private or public just depends whether or not you allow it to be in that library so other people are going to search. This question type block, that's going to be something that we're going to go into more detail, but there's a number of types of questions, and depending on what you're trying to do, you would select a different type of question, but as I mentioned, we're going to go into much more detail in the next step of this module. Up at the top, this is going to be all your coding, kind of the background information. If you've done any Canvas formula quizzes, this is where you're going to do a lot of defining your variables and defining how something is calculated. Down at the bottom, this is going to be what students actually see. Now, if you read HTML, this is going to be no big deal, but if you're like me and you don't have HTML memorized, I always click this toggle editor. And so students are going to see what is A times B, and they're going to see an answer box. And so A and B up above are defined as different random numbers from 2 to 12, and choose 2 of them. The answer is defined as A times B. If I want to see exactly what it looks like for kids, I click Quick Save and Preview, and it's going to ask them what is 9 times 7. They would try to answer that question, and if they answer it correctly, they can click Submit, and they're going to get that feedback that they got it correct. Let's say that they did not get that question correct and they submit it. Ooh, and they got it wrong and they weren't sure. They can click the key to get the correct answer, but if they want full points, they're going to have to click Get a New Version, and you're going to see that generator randomly assign a new A value and B value such that the students can recalculate. So now if the student was able to identify 3 times 10, they'd submit it and they'd get that correct. And so if I like everything here, I'd click Save and I'd be ready to go. Like I said, we're going to dive much more into the coding, but just so you have kind of a general idea of how to navigate, if you want to get back to the training course and see some of the other quizzes or assignments, that's here. And then when you jump into the next step, you're going to be looking at the different types of questions, which are number questions, multiple choice questions, number function questions, drawing questions, and multi-part questions. And there's going to be some coding support for each of those. I look forward to working with you and you being able to experience a little bit more about MyOpenMath.